Hello everyone, this is Pal Ponder on Weather. In this update, we're going to go over the outlook for the next 7 days so you can know what to expect and plan ahead. Welcome back everyone, how's it going? Happy Friday out there. Go ahead and hit the like button if you hadn't already and subscribe. If you're new, it's free to do so. All you have to do is hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to get all my daily updates. So we're going to kind of fully break down this overall setup this morning on the North American view to include the entire United States and Canada so you can know what to expect. So let's take a look at the overall satellite picture this morning. And let me show you this little disturbance out here into the Eastern Pacific. That's actually an area of low pressure that the National Hurricane Center has actually put out a 30 to 40% chance of it actually forming into a subtropical storm over the next couple of days. Now it's moving into an unfavorable environment over the next within 48 hours, so it's only got a short window here. But if it's able to form, it's going to actually get the name Agatha, which is the first name of the 2022 hurricane season on the eastern side. So that'll be interesting if it's able to come and gain subtropical characteristics. But yeah, you can actually see the satellite picture this morning. This blue here, that is the indicative that Arctic air, that is cold Arctic air that's showing up on the satellite picture this morning. These are all clouds. You can see it's free and clear off here for much of the Pacific Northwest, but we're watching this cold front that came through. That's bringing all the cloud cover and some snow all the way down into the deep south of Texas. And we've got winter weather advisories and watches along the coast here. And so we'll go over all that in the details ahead. So let's take a look at the overall air temperatures this morning. And it's frigid, guys. These are overall temperatures as of 5 a.m., for Friday the 21st here. And yeah, look at that. I mean, we're talking 21 below zero in Wisconsin here, 27 in northern New England. All these blues here along the coast, those are your 30s. You got 20s in Texas and much of Kentucky here into Tennessee, and 40s along the coast here, but all the way down to the deep south into 34 degrees into Brownsville, where they're actually getting some snow right now, and they're 11 to 70 in Miami this morning. So let's take a look at the radar for Brownsville, and yes, that blue is snow, guys. It's confirmation at the airport. 34 degrees and light snow, and all the way down into Brownsville, Texas. And south of that, that's Mexico, and it's still snowing. So I wasn't pulling your leg yesterday. It is confirmation. It is snowing in Mexico this morning. Can you believe that? What's incredible, where Miami is on the same latitude, it's 70 degrees. It's the same latitude as Brownsville, where they're reporting 34 degrees and snow. That tells you how rare this is, what's happening currently at the moment. So let's take a look at the overall setup for the hazards that's happening across the nation. And yeah, you can see we got wind advisories out here into California. They're expecting some 40 and 50 mile per hour wind gusts later on this afternoon, and even into Vegas here, those higher wind gusts. We've got a new storm that we're going to be talking about that's going to bring some more snow starting out into North Dakota here. Those lighter blues, that is your wind chill advisories and warnings this morning for those dangerous wind chills that are dropping south with those pieces of the polar vortex. And that is your winter storm warning. That's why they've got it snowing down here all the way down to the deep south of Texas. These purples here are your hard freeze warnings. So typically when you get this for the first time, they haven't seen these type of temperatures so far this season. That's going to be temperatures of 28 degrees and lower for these areas. So that is definitely unique. Down all the way down here in the south of Louisiana. And here, man, we've got Mobile, we've got Pensacola under winter weather advisories this morning. So yeah, even Florida, the Panhandle is getting winter weather advisories, while Miami is sitting at 70 degrees. And there's our storm off the coast of the Carolinas that's going to bring some snow and ice to portions of South Carolina and North Carolina. So let's take a look at the latest high resolution guidance going forward. About 3 o'clock this afternoon, all the snow and ice ends for portions of the deep south. Now that transfers over into the Carolinas, where they're going to be starting to pick up some of that lazy, icy mix into extreme portions of South Carolina and North Carolina, mainly along the coast here. On the northern side, they're going to be starting to see some of that snow breaking out on the northern side, but it continues, it progresses and continues to push off. But about the time we get into that midnight time frame, so the temperatures are obviously going to be lower, it's going to be dark, and then the temperatures fall at night, and by midnight we're going to start seeing some of that lighter to moderate snow start to transfer and not have the freezing rain, and all layers of the atmosphere are going to be freezing by then. It's all going to be snow into portions of extreme eastern portions of North Carolina, getting into Virginia here, into places like off the coast here. But that's going to be pushing off. It's not going to be pushing north. It's going to be pushing off to sea because it's more progressive. So yeah, here's your latest totals. We're talking places like into Augusta, about 1.5 inches. Columbia about 2.3 inches. You get into Florence about 3 inches, all the way up into to Fayetteville, about 3.5 inches of snowfall. So just kind of give you an idea what to expect. I mean, Greenville, South Carolina, we're talking about 4 inches of snow, and even up to Virginia Beach. I mean, this could be a little bit of a rarity event. We're talking 4, 5, 6. They could actually be the bullseye of this system, getting upwards to possibly 4 to 6 inches of snow from this system. But yeah, it moves out by midnight on Saturday. It's gone. It's off the coast, and it's a distant memory. So let's take a look at the overall setup for the ice. So we could be looking at some blazing to 1/10 of an inch, and some of this along the coast here could be some damaging ice that we're going to be concerned about in places into southern South Carolina. We're talking places like Charleston, about about 1/10 of an inch. Myrtle Beach, actually, along the coast here, up to maybe possibly 1/4 inch. So that's where they could start seeing some of that damaging type, a little bit more significant type ice, really right along the coastline there. And as you get further into North Carolina, places like into Wilmington, or less than 1/4 inch, into Jacksonville, about 1/4 inch. So that could be your bullseye in some of the more heavier glazing, than thicker coating on the roadways and some of the power lines. They're definitely concerned about those areas of having some power outages in these areas from these weighted trees and tree damage coming down with a little bit more significant ice for that part of the country. But as we expand the view for Saturday, here's the North American views. You can see the storm moving safely offshore. The rest of the country, we'll be going to be watching this little clipper system out here that's going to be developing. That's why they've got the snow. These winter weather advisories, the Dakotas this morning, that's going to be moving over to Wisconsin with some of that heavier snow. So they're going to get all the polar air, the Arctic air, and the snow. So yeah, it's going to be really frigid into Wisconsin there on Saturday. But for the rest of the country, for the most part, the atmospheric river really starts to die down for the Pacific Northwest. There's not much rain to speak of, or any snow to speak of, really, in the higher elevations, even in the mountain regions on Saturday. So as we expand the view into Sunday, yeah, that clipper system continues to move southeast. We're going to try to get some snow for you guys in Indiana. So it looks a little promising. I'm not talking significant amounts or anything, but it definitely looks like, 1 to 3 inches of snow could be coming up on the day on Sunday for portions of Indiana here, going into Ohio, and that'll swing over to portions of Pennsylvania with these clipper systems coming down. There's your red line. That's your freezing line, where the freezing temperatures are going to be. So anything south of that is going to be safely above freezing, but you're high and dry anyways by the time we get into that Sunday time frame. So as Monday rolls around, we're going to be starting to look at this little disturbance out here off the west coast. That's going to be pushing into the Four Corners region off the coast of Texas here, and that's going to set the stage for a little bit more lift in the atmosphere, and actually going to bring some much needed rain for Texas. I mean, 64% of the state right now is experiencing a severe drought, so they take any precipitation they can get. So we're also watching these little vorticities up to the north. That's going to bring these little clipper systems along the upper Midwest and the Great Lakes, but plus at the same time bring some of that more Arctic and polar air down here into portions of the US as we go into midweek time frame, because by Monday there's your snow. Again, we have another little clipper system coming down, bringing more snow into portions of Montana. Here's the expanded view. Much of Canada, as you see, is not much snow happening on Monday time frame. But as you swing into the Great Lakes again, yeah, there's your bullseye again in Wisconsin, going back into Michigan, going into northern Ohio here. Some of this could be Lake Enhanced and Dew. But there's the disturbance down south. It more or less brings the precipitation kind of to the borderline of the Dallas-Fort Worth area, but heavier precipitation in central Texas. This is all rain because it's not going to be cold enough on Monday to be any form of ice or anything like that. But it's going to be, some light to moderate to heavier rain the further south you live into Texas. So around the Houston Metroplex, they could be looking at some heavier rain by the time we get into that Monday time frame. And that same system continues to push off into the east here. So now we're talking places into Louisiana, into Mississippi, going into Alabama with some of that heavier rain by Tuesday the 25th time frame, as we're still seeing those little clipper systems well to the north in the upper Great Lakes and getting into northern New England with some of that light to moderate snow, as some of the snow will try to come down into portions of Colorado where we have a new surge of colder air. So we're gonna have a new reinforcing shot of another cold blast of Arctic air pushing south. That'll be on Tuesday, but won't get into our southern regions until Wednesday time frame. But look at the cold. Look at the below average anomalies by the time we get into Wednesday, January the 26th. It's fairly above average for much of Canada here. Sporadic, kind of more or less normal as you get into our western areas. But yeah, you go up into the upper Midwest, going back in New England again, and much of southern Canada here, that is extremely cold air, as another reinforcing shot of Arctic air continues to press south. So let's look at some of these temperatures here by the time we get into that Wednesday time frame. Look, all the greens here, that is your below zero temperatures of upwards to 10, 15, upwards to 20 below zero. So that is some serious cold stuff coming on Wednesday, going into Iowa here, 20 below, 25 below zero. Those sporadic below zero temperatures will be across New England, much of southern Canada here. So we're experiencing in Montreal and Toronto, those areas of 15 to 20 below zero. So that cold Arctic air is continuing to plunge south, and those single digits will spread all the way getting into portions of Kentucky here. All right, so that is definitely some cold stuff on the way. And as we get into Wednesday, that Thursday time frame there, look, the atmospheric river dies down. There's not much precipitation out west. There is sporadic snow showers up in the higher elevations. That system will continue to press out and move out. But look at the red line. That cold Arctic air continues to press south with those freezing temperatures all the way down to the coast again. So we've got another reinforcing shot, but it almost clears the atmosphere out because Arctic air is dry air. So there's not much snow to speak of on the backside of that Arctic air, but there's plenty of cold air, that's for sure, as all those negative below zero temperatures go much of into the mid-Atlantic states and into New England here, of those 10, 15, 20 degrees below average, below zero temperatures. So that is some dangerous stuff, and by far their coldest temperatures of the season. So you got a couple days to prepare for this, but man, by the time we get into that Thursday time frame on the 27th, that is some serious cold air on the table coming in for that region. So let's move forward to Friday now. So by the time we get to next Friday, again, as that cold air continues to press south, there's your red line. So much of the country is going to be experiencing those freezing temperatures by far. But since it's Arctic air, it almost clears the atmosphere out, and there's really not much snow on the backside, even as we get into that Friday time frame. So overall, on the North American view, as far as your precipitation, look, off the West Coast, the atmospheric river is pretty much shut off right now. It's high and dry out in the Pacific Northwest. We do get sporadic snow showers in the midsection of the country, but there's your little clipper systems and your upcoming snowstorm that's going to be happening this week, as we're going to be starting to see in spokes and spokes of energy coming across in our upper Midwest and going through the mid-Atlantic states. But down here to the south, you see it's pretty much clear in the midsection of the country. But there's that low pressure system we're going to have to be contending with on Monday, transferring across into the deep south, going across the southeast with a couple inches, couple inches of rainfall. There's your snow that's going to be happening this week as well. So there's your clipper system. There's your snow in the higher elevations out here into portions of Wyoming going into Colorado. There's your several clipper systems that are going to be adding up to those totals. That is your snow that's coming up on Friday, later on today into portions in the overnight hours across the South Carolina and North Carolina along the Virginia beach there. So hey, I appreciate you guys watching. Do like this video, definitely leave your comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Catch the latest update where I protect you before and after storm.